In today's video, we're going to take a look at Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth. Now, I am a massive buff on all things Tolkien. This is my absolute favorite world to be in. No question. I don't know if you can see in the background, but I'm a massive fan of the Middle-earth strategy battle game. Anything Lord of the Rings I have to own, so this had to be in my collection. In this video, we're going to start off with how to play the game. So I'm going to take you through everything, give my opinion on stuff, and finish off with a review. So let's get down to the table and take a look at this one. So during setup, your board is going to look something like this. You're going to set up chapter 1 in this style. It will show you on the side of the box, which I think is a very cool inclusion and more games should do. So some are face down, some are face up. You're going to have your tracker here, so you can keep track of where the ring wraiths and the hobbits are. You're going to have your board where it's sort of area control. You're going to have some tokens on top, which combo with these characters here. We'll get more into the cards shortly. You're going to start by placing 2 of the Gondor soldiers in Arnor, and then vice versa. You're going to take some of these Goblin, Orc, Barad-dûr fellas into Mordor. Next up, the Fellowship player is going to take 3 and Sauron is going to take 2. Finally, along the top, you're going to have your landmarks. You're going to shuffle up these landmarks and then draw 3. Those are quite important as well. We've got our armies, we've got the coins. So let's take a look at this game and break down a turn. Most importantly, let's start with how to win this game. Some games you can be playing and then realize later on you're not actually working towards a win condition. In this one, you either have presence in all of these areas, so basically just have something on each of these things. So something like this would be considered a win, having presence in all of the lands, having the 6 variations of characters. So this is basically support from the different races. So if you can gather the support of men, elves, dwarves, wizards, ents, hobbits, all of it, you are considered winning. And finally is this track here we spoke of. Once the ring wraiths catch the hobbits, so catch all the way up to here, or the hobbits make it all the way to Mount Doom, that is a win condition for both sides as well. Now we'll continue through the how to play, but I will say now, I think it's very interesting how there's 3 different ways to win. So even though someone can take a lead in one area, you can very much come back and combat that in another. But that's set up and how you win. How do you actually play? So on your turn, you can purchase a landmark. So let's take a look at this first. Here you can see cost. So you're going to need each of these symbols, some of the symbols twice. And this one here is basically going to be a coin for each of your fortresses you have on the field. So any of these down, it's going to cost a slightly extra, slightly more difficult to pay for. Once you've paid for it though, you're not really going to do it early on because this is quite a few different cards to collect. But once you've paid for it, you're going to get these benefits here. So in this case, we've got Erebor, one of my favorite areas. This is basically going to put a fortress in this area. So we're going to put a fortress over here. And then we're going to gain 5 coins. And then we're going to get to complete a movement on the board. So a movement would be taking one of your characters. Obviously, all of these are connected and moving it along one of those lines. Now, for example, let's say Mordor's occupied and we decide to go from Gondor to Mordor. When you move into an area with other characters, it has to be characters and not fortresses. For example, if there was a fortress in Rohan and we move there, we wouldn't have any conflict. However, we move into an area with other fighters in, there is. So basically the way you resolve it is just remove one of each until there is only one surviving. So remove one of each, there is a goblin surviving, so evil would still control that. If there was only one of each, you could remove the last goblin, remove your elf, and then potentially if we've got more over here, you could slide some more in and take control. That movement is how you're going to gain presence in all of Middle-earth and one of the win conditions. But as I say, these are very difficult to pay for and not something you're doing in the early game. So your cards are going to look something like this. Obviously, the ones revealed are the ones we're able to take. The way it works is anything not covered by a card. So you can see these are covered, these are covered. The first turn we can only take these 6. Once we take a few, cards are then going to be flipped as nothing is covering them. This one would still be covered, so that wouldn't flip. And slowly you're going to work your way up this, gathering cards, gathering resources as you go. But what are the different resources and what you need? Well, these are grey cards. Normally these are going to give you different skills. So you'll see here there's no requirement to take these. You can just pick this up, put it into your possession. And now, whenever you need to pay with this resource, you have one that you can use. Pretty good combination here. So basically, if we wanted this card, we would have to pay this. Now, we could take it and not pay for it, but we don't get the benefit of it, so there's not really much point. If we take this turn 1, we would have this resource. This turn 2 would mean we could then pay for it and do this effect. So this is the payment, this is the effect. The effect here is going to let us move our hobbits or ring wraiths, depending on which side we are, along the tracker. So there are some tactics where you want to remove stuff just so your opponent can't further their game. You could choose to trash this, so it would be removed and you would be paid this here. So in chapter 1, you get paid 1, 2, 2, and 3, 3. Just to recap that, you can take a landmark, you can choose to play a card and use its effect if you have the payment necessary, or you can trash a card and throw it away. If you don't, for any reason, have one of these symbols, you can pay a coin to replace it. So if we're missing 3 of the symbols from this landmark, we could pay 3 gold coins to replace it. So obviously, as in the real world, gold is very much a necessity and is a very powerful token, not only to pay for some things you need, but also cheating the system and replacing other symbols. It's important to note as you reveal cards, other cards are revealed, so you do want to be tactical on how you do that and when. Obviously, you don't want to give your opponent the first choice of the next cards revealed. But we've touched on those 2 types, we've got 3 more. So let's quickly touch on them. We've got the yellow cards, which are going to be coin. We've got the combat cards, which are more of a red, orange type color. These are going to give you some cool effects and let you move stuff around. Very much designated for this board and combat. And then finally, we've got the characters. We did already mention these, but they do also have some bonus effects. So let's say in chapter 1, you get a hobbit. In chapter 2, you get another one. Now you've got 2 of these, you're going to get to activate an effect. So when you get 2 of the same race, you're going to go over here and find the matching symbol. So in this case, we've got the pipe. You would take the top 2 from that, look at them, look at your symbols, and then check this sheet to see what they do. So in this case, we've got one that the eagle symbol is an additional race symbol that counts as 1 of the 6 required for the support of the race's victory. So that symbol is absolutely massive. That's 1 step closer to winning the game. The other one says, when you play a blue card, also place 1 unit in any region. So a blue card is one of these. So whenever we play one of these, we can also place one of our characters into a region. Again, this is massive. The blue cards are speeding up our win condition via the ring, and placing stuff on the board is speeding up the win condition of having presence in all of Middle-earth. So both of these are very powerful. These tokens in general are very powerful. They're not one-time uses. Obviously this one would be a one-time use because its effect is just stays. This one, every time we play a blue card, we can put a character down. So being able to increase 2 win chances is pretty good. So we're going to take this one. The one you don't choose goes back to the same pile and you continue on. Now, if you collect 3 different races, this is going to be only something you can do once, but it is very powerful. You're going to look at the top of all 3 of these symbols. In this case, we'll take the token of the man, the hobbit, and the elf. Look at them, again, choose 1, keep it, put the others back. You've already seen some of the power, but some of these abilities, they're just unbelievable. Like this one from the elf. Once per turn, benefit from any skill. Having that versatility and that option is just so powerful. Some of these feel a lot more powerful than others, but it's going to be choosing which ones when you need them to help your strategy. You're then going to keep picking cards from chapter 1 until you're finished and it's cleared out. I doubt very much there's going to be a winner. If there is, the game is over immediately. If not, move on to chapter 2. Keep all of your stuff from chapter 1 as some of these are going to be in combination with that. For example, if we improve our military via this card in chapter 1, just note this symbol up here, we are going to be able to chain an effect in the 2nd act, if we're able to get this card anyway. You'll notice that symbol reappears here. Basically, that means instead of paying these 3, we can just take this card for free, not having to pay anything. It is a massive advantage. I do think this is one of the more powerful things in this game. Chaining can lead to a very snowball effect. So I'd say this is one of my downsides to the game. However, it does mean if you're going down a certain strategy, you can just snowball it. You can get these cards for free. Obviously, you do need to find them before your opponent. You need to sacrifice your turn in choosing one of these. Still, it's not just something you take for free, even though the cost is free. So yeah, there's very cool combinations like that. Very interesting choices, which come up with the cards and the tokens and where characters go and which win condition. There's not much to the rules. Honestly, that is all there is. It's honestly hard for me to say anything against this game. I've already mentioned the chaining feels slightly too powerful at points. Other than that, the only thing I would say is some of the components. These cards feel a little bit flimsy, and I'm not a massive fan that they're not regular card size. I've got a ton of sleeves I could use to sleeve these up. Obviously you do need to shuffle them, and they're passed around and dropped. So it'd be nice to have an option to sleeve them. Obviously I can measure them and find custom sleeves, but am I going to do that? Probably not. It's a very small quality of life thing. I do think in general, I mean, the amount you get, just look at all of this on the table. The tracker is absolutely gorgeous. The board, the art on these cards is unbelievable. There is so much to love about this game. You get so much in the box for the price. So I really do think it is nitpicking to point out these things, but I think if it's a review, if it's a video on this game, I should mention it in some capacity. I do think in general it's not really a gripe because you get so much for what you're spending. Like even these little tokens, there's no reason that they need an image on either side. There's no reason these cards needs to be such gorgeous art. They could have recycled it via, depending on licensing, via the movies or books or something like that. Everything about this is well done. It's obviously made with care. The artist has done an incredible job. I'm going to flash up the artist's name because I don't want to get it wrong, but he has done an amazing job. It's a unique take on Middle Earth, but it's one that's very close to what you would expect anyway, and it's not taking any liberties. He's obviously a fan of this world, and it very much tells, not only in the art and other things, but just, like I say, the components and how this game has been pulled together. It's a beautiful symphony of just everything going right for this game. I think how you play, it's very tactical. There's small decisions that make a massive difference. As I say, if you're a Middle Earth fan, even if you just enjoyed Seven Wonders Duel, which I really did, I've only played it a few times, but it was a really good game. But this improves on that, not only mechanically, but also it's just, there's so much more to it. You get so much more stuff. And again, it's just the amount crammed into the box to make this feel like a package that you would want to buy. And it is 100% a game I would recommend you buy in. If you're looking for a 2-player game, this is the game for you. If you're looking for an intro just for your nerdy friends to get into board gaming, Lord of the Rings is right there with board gaming. It is one of those nerdy things most people love. I would recommend this game. If you're looking for something to play with your other half, I would recommend this game. If you're looking for an intro game, if you're looking for just a cheap, quick filler, I would recommend this game. Obviously, it is only 2 players, so there are some drawbacks. It's not one you want to bring out on game night. Obviously, you don't want everyone else sitting around while you're playing 1 versus 1 against somebody else. There's no way to make it 4 players, or it's definitely not worth doing, I don't think. There is a lot to love about this game. Very, very little to, I wouldn't even say hate. I have minor gripes with some of the areas, some of the components. I am really trying to nitpick for those. In general, fantastic game, fantastic price. 100% a thumbs up for me. Go out and buy it. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed making it. I'm going to play this game a few more times. I made my top 10 board games a few weeks ago. This, I'm going to need to play it a ton more, but I 100% expect to see this on next year's, which is rare because I don't normally play 2-player games a lot. I have a friend that I play them with. Other than that, I would say that's about it. I don't really even get them out with my other half or normally with friends as a group of us, so it's not really games to bring out, but I think this might find its place just because of the theme, the gameplay, the components, the cost to enjoyment ratio, if that's a thing. It has just been a pleasure. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully you're going to run out and grab it now because I do think it is worth getting. If you've enjoyed this video, you want to see more how-to, reviews, tabletop, miniature stuff, please do subscribe and like. That is a massive help. If you've been with us for a while and you want to see more stuff, maybe you want to see bigger games reviewed or me go to miniature tournaments or other things, I do have a Patreon where you can support me. The link is below. Obviously not necessary, but it's just for anyone that's looking to support the channel and helping it move forward. Or if you just want to win some goodies, the way it works on the Patreon is everyone is assigned characters or cards when I play different games. And as those cards, characters and other things do well, you accrue points. Now, after a few months, I pick whoever's at the top, reset their points and send them a gift. Obviously, this channel is covering miniature games, war games, board games, card games. So I will ask what you're into before sending you anything. I don't want to send you something from a system you don't even play. So the gift will be tailored towards you as best I can as well. So yeah, go get some goodies, help support the channel. If not, like I say, a like and a subscribe goes a massive way. Thank you if you've made it to this point in the video. That's all I've got for this episode though, so I will catch you in the next one.